watch if they would like. And I'm going to read our hearing script. This basically just covers the procedure for the hearing. Then we can jump into it if you're comfortable at that point.
Sure.
See if they can manage to get in the meantime. Okay, so this is the April 20th, 2022 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the City of Cincinnati, and I will preside over this case. The case before us today is case number ZH20220037. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the Zoning Hearing Examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing, unless a party has opted to submit evidence or testimony in the form of writing prior to this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. I will give our zoning department, Doug Owen, an opportunity to provide any testimony that he would like. And then in the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to make to rebut those arguments or statements in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony or documents. That's generally evidence you want to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who is not present at this hearing. Okay, and so in the event of any technical difficulties or any other unforeseen circumstances with our video conferencing technology, which we're kind of experiencing now, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent it prevents us from meaningfully going forward with the hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. So I'll kind of, she dropped off again. So sure. I'll kind of, looks like she's trying again. I'll kind of put it to you at this point. Do you believe that we'll be able to meaningfully go forward with this hearing without having the owners present?
It looks like it's finally asked for an ID and passcode. Can we give her 2 more minutes, please?
Sure. Yeah,
but to answer your question, yes, I think we can.
Okay, got it. Sure, we absolutely can. All right, we'll just give her a couple more minutes. That's the end of my spiel. And then once, hopefully when she arrives, we'll get you guys sworn in.
Yeah, you let me know if what you're seeing on your end, because I'm obviously not seeing that.
Have you ever hosted one of these before?
I have, yeah, and it's a bit of a, you got to be an octopus, man. You're kind of juggling a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so on the right side, there's like a participant panel.
Yeah,
and it sort of shows you who's in the waiting room and who's already joined, and hers is just sort of sitting there in the waiting room after I admit her, and it just says joining ...
Lingered.
There's no action that's happening, so it's unclear what's going on her end. But
let's go ahead. Let's go ahead then. I think we can make this work.
Okay. I'm happy to give her more time though, and of course I'll continue to manage that on the side here. She can keep trying, and I'll keep trying to let her in.
Sure. Okay. Great.
Oh, there's
something.
Still no audio though. Okay. Let's go ahead then.
Okay.
All right. So I just need to swear both of you guys in. If you could raise your right hands, I need you to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, great. All right. Mr. Schneider, you are with Jeckering Schneider, right?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Floor is yours. What would you like to tell me about the project?
Well, I was approached by Nancy and Roy earlier in the year to kind of help them through coordinate this process of developing this. They have recently purchased the property and they would like to make it their home. I just a little personal background. I live literally right down the street. I live on Lakeman Street, which intersects with Blue Rock. So I have personally, I've been looking at this building for the past 20 years of my life. It's gone through some ups and downs. It has had probably 3 or 4 different businesses in it over the 20 years that I've been here. None of those businesses have been successful. The building's been kind of neglected over time. And personally, I see this as a real advantage. Having this converting this use from a mercantile over to a single family is going to pretty much guarantee that the property will be maintained. But I'll kind of go down the list here as far as what we're asking for, as far as the variances. The first one is going to be from the land use regulation is going to CCM, commercial district, a request a conditional use for a single family residence. We've taken a look at the space, and we don't think that there's going to be any negative impact to the surrounding areas, the surrounding properties. There's a lot of this area is a little bit different than Hamilton Avenue itself. It lacks sort of that density to have a real walkable feel to it. There are a couple of thriving businesses on Blue Rock, but those are primarily destination based. Right across the street, we've got Climb Cincinnati. We've got Jojo Gelato down the street, which just opened up. We're all grateful for that. We got Boswell's Alley down the street as well. So those are the primary businesses on Blue Rock. We don't feel that the loss of this retail space is going to impact those businesses at all. We'd also like to argue that the majority of the properties on that in this area within the 300 feet radius are residential properties, residential uses on the first floor. Roughly 60% of those buildings are residential. We did this primarily just from a drive-by visual basis to try and figure out exactly what was going on there. And so we've included a diagram in our submission as well. The residential use would conform to the North Side land use plan in both 2006 and 2014. And as I said earlier, given the property is underutilized for the past 20 years or so, we feel that the single family use is going to be a real improvement and put people there all the time, taking care and maintaining their property. I'd also like to add that we did approach the Northside Community Council for support, and on March 21st, they provided a letter of support for us for both a conditional use and a special exception. I submitted that to ProjDocs probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I hope that is in your packet. If not, I can submit it elsewhere. So that's our argument for the conditional use. We also need to request a special exemption for ground floor transparency. Obviously, ground floor transparency, the intent here is to provide a visibility and vitality and activity along a street front in a mercantile district. Kind of gives passersby that sort of depth of action and to kind of see beyond that initial front plane to see what's going on behind and draw people's attention in. This is not something that is really pertinent or important or helpful for a single family residence. I think the larger argument here is that given that I live on Lakeman Street, I drive down the street and my headlights pretty much beam right into the front of that building. So we obviously want them to have a little bit more privacy and not have to deal with street front glare and those kinds of things. We work together to develop a front facade that maintains the historic character of the building. We've done that by providing some grid patterns with a top, middle, and base. We have a few windows that are going to go in on either side, but the center mass is actually going to be left infilled. That's to give them sort of a backdrop for either artwork or television or furniture or however they want to lay out their living space. Let's see. Discuss light pollution. There are actually some precedents here around the neighborhood in Northside that we presented in our packet. This is not the first time we've been doing this in Northside. We've got a lot of really old buildings like this. Some of the notable examples I included were, 1498 Dane Avenue, which has a blacked out storefront area. The primary example that we modeled our design after is 1758 Chase Avenue, which is about 500 feet from the property. That has the same sort of infill pattern design with the windows, punch window openings as well. There's another precedent on Hanfield Street, 1757. That has more of a traditional storefront, but I think the real difference here is that was treated as more of a commercial aluminum storefront with some blacked out windows, so that doesn't quite have the same effect. We think we've done one better than that. So those are our discussion points for why we believe that this is relevant and important for the new development.
Okay, great, thank you. I have to mention you left out the bakery there when you were talking about destination.
Oh, Menominee, that's a heartbreaker, right? We don't quite know what's going on with that. It's only open weekends.
Back open. It's back open.
Is it?
Oh yeah,
I should know.
Just recently. Yeah, I'm also a Northside resident.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So, I don't think I have any questions. Let me go ahead and take a second here and just welcome, who I believe are Roy and Nancy Heiser. Is that right?
Yes.
Welcome, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. So we just got started. Mr. Schneider just walked me through some background and details on the project. I'll give you all an opportunity to weigh in or provide any testimony that you would like. But let me first go to our zoning plans examiner, Doug Owen. Doug, is there anything that you wanted to provide on this?
I don't have much in addition to what's in the staff report. Basically, I just reiterate, as Mr. Snyder pointed out, this is a substantial property right in the area as far as the ground floor residential use and as also the transparency. And then if that ground floor residential use is granted, then obviously the ground floor transparency is not as important since that's intended to, activate the street with commercial products that are being sold in the store. So staff is supportive of both of the requests.
So out of curiosity, what would we say the current ground floor transparency is on that building?
Yeah, that's a good question because with the glass block, it's not actually transparent, and we wouldn't allow glass block to go into a building that requires transparency. So, you could make the argument now that they're actually increasing the overall transparency on the ground floor by providing some windows here rather than just glass block.
Yeah, I was wondering how we measured the glass block as opaque or transparent, but
right.
I can see how, cars coming from Lakeman or up and down the street could still provide some light pollution into the ground floor there. So, okay, thanks, Doug. Appreciate it. So to the Heisers, you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. It's completely up to you. But if you would like to provide any testimony, you'll have to just swear both of you in. So do you have anything you wanted to add?
We're looking forward to moving to the Northside community. We have friends in the area and do volunteer work at one of the local businesses there, and looking forward to moving to it. Okay.
All right. Great. Mr. Schneider, I don't think I have a lot of questions on this. In fact, I'm not sure that I have any. I mean, are there any potential adverse effects from as a result of this project that you're anticipating?
No, we see this as a benefit to the community. As we said, the building has been vacant on and off for over 20 years, and having full-time occupants is going to pretty much ensure that it's well maintained.
Okay. When was the last time a business was here?
Just from my own personal recollection, I'm going to say about maybe 7 years, and that was nothing more than just a sort of a ad hoc retail space where we'd see paintings or use furniture out in front, or we never quite knew what was going on down there.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Anything else, Mr. Schneider, in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here today?
No, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yep. Thank you. So I have had a chance to review the case materials and the staff report. As I've already mentioned, I've been up and down around this site a lot in the past. And so based on that and based on the testimony here today, I'm going to approve the application. I need to formalize that decision in a written opinion that usually does take a couple weeks for me to get out. As soon as I finish that, I put it into a PDF and I email it to everybody who's in the hearing today. So you all have a copy of it really just moments after it's complete. And as soon as you have that, Doug can move forward on okaying the permits. And so, do you have any questions now about any of that?
Okay.
Okay. Well, if anything, sure, of course. If anything comes up in the meantime, please feel free to reach out to myself or to Doug. If you want a status update on where I'm at with the decision, again, feel free you can reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to give you guys an update on that. And unless there's anything else, we'll leave it there. Thank you all again for your time and your testimony. To the Heisers, I hope you enjoy the neighborhood. Good luck with the project, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.